beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Would you be my neighbor? Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition. I've got a lot to pack in an hour. Welcome online to Lakeisha, to Carolyn, to Marie, to Jen, others who are coming on in. Listen, I got a lot to talk about. We'll be going live in just a few minutes down to Swan and an event that's going on down there for your health. I was in New York again yesterday. Got delayed again yesterday with I was with the governor and with pastors from New York State. Pastor Badger was there. Pastor Richardson out of Mount Vernon, A.R. Bernard, Carl Washington.
Oh, you have some heavy hitters down there.
Yeah, we was in the corner having the talk. So we're gonna get together next week, talk some stuff about our communities. But yeah, the heavy hitters. All of those guys and myself are on the governor's executive branch for faith-based and not-for-profit. And then you had like our Jewish brothers and sisters, our Muslim brothers and sisters, and a lot of, New York City got a lot of different things going on. But it was a great event. And then got stuck again in New York at the same gate the other week. Last week, I had to drive home in a rental car by myself. I just prayed to the God, the one and true and only living God, please. So a flight that should have left at 8, I don't think we get out until after 11, but we got out. So I'm going to talk about a couple things today. We're going to be talking about this story about Tops Market. Of course, we got to talk about the election in New York and in Buffalo and how the New York City election, your thoughts on it. If you don't know anything about it, this is a big one. The New York City election is almost like a magnified Buffalo election of the Byron Brown, India Walton period.
Yeah.
And so if you don't know what's happening in New York that could set a precedent, either way, and I'm going to tell you.
I like how you put that.
Right, either way. And I'm going to tell you some of the conversation I had with the heavy hitters in New York yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, we were in the group. We were in the group.
Did y'all end up discussing? I sent you the reel about how some of the big Baptist conferences accepted the money from Target.
that's the thing I kept saying.
Okay.
I got a lot to get through. Yeah, we did. Oh, okay.
Oh,
I'm going to go in there.
Okay. Good.
All right, I'm glad you brought that up. Listen, so we're going to talk about that 300,000.
Yeah.
That the
per organization.
That the National Baptist, the Missionary Baptist, the Church of God in Christ. No, it wasn't 300 per.
No. I'm saying 75,000 each.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't disclose who said what.
Yes.
But I will disclose that I was with some of the heavy hitters from the National Baptist Convention yesterday. And I got a take from somebody.
Oh, I can't wait.
I could not remember. I had all this stuff written down. And we're going to talk about cell phone bans because state of New York, your kids will not be able, your students, your scholars will not be able to go in schools this year with their cell phones. New law on the books coming at you. We're going to talk about whether that's good, whether that's bad, whether that's indifferent. Let's get ready to go down to Swan Street. We're going to get Ashley on, who is our health navigator for Choose Healthy Life. And
she's up now.
Hey, I don't know what I got Soul Snack or something on my screen.
Well, your Zoom is up. I don't know what you're watching.
Okay. I don't know what I'm watching, but other people must be watching it too. Like the streamers say, hi, Ashley.
Hi, Bishop.
Tell me, you're at our downtown location, 472 Swan, and what's happening down there today?
So we have our BFW event today. So people are able to get free blood work done. They're going to check your heart, your liver, your kidneys, cholesterol, diabetes, all of those things.
So I I found out you're supposed to fast, but I heard that they did take some people and asked them if they didn't fast and then wrote that into the record.
Yes.
Okay, because I'm going to be honest. I had a turkey sandwich. It was already in the
Okay.
microwave, so I'll be down. So how is it going?
It's going really good, actually. We have a good turnout. It's been going great. We have the chair massages upstairs too. People are loving the chair massages. So it's been going really well.
Wow, now this is crazy because I just told the guys I got a crook in my neck that I've had for the last 4 or 5 days. And this is a free event, correct?
Yes, it's completely free. You don't have to pay anything. You don't need insurance. You literally just show up.
And the sponsors of this is, of course, the United Way and Choose Healthy Life, which is Choose Healthy Life New York. And they're paying for and partnering with Quest Diagnostics, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
So can people just come now? I know there are people scheduled, but if a person is watching, are we maxed out now?
So far people are still able to come. We have had a few walk-ins and they've been able to be seen. So if anyone wants to come, they don't have an appointment, they can come as a walk-in.
All right. And now, folks, what I want you to know is that they only have so many test kits, so they have to have the ones that are scheduled, but they did build in a little more. What time is the event over?
The event is over at 2:30, so the last appointment is 2:20.
At 2:20. All right. So when I get off the air, I'm going to come down there, and Mark told me after the food was on the way into the microwave. So it was too late. My heart
It was his
was
fault.
already in it.
Oh, you see how they do you, America? They throw you under the bus.
But you did say, "Oh, hold on, we
you were
fasting."
you were on your way to the microwave,
Right.
and then I said, "Hey, you can't do that," and you were like,
I put it in the record. Put it in the record that I ate a turkey sausage and white or egg whites. All right, we'll see you in a few minutes.
All right, I'll see you guys later.
Thank you.
"See you."
472 Swan is the place to go, our downtown location. Free blood screening. You do not have to pay. You don't have to have health insurance. Thank you to the United Way under the direction of Trina Burris, and also to Choose Healthy Life New York, which is a national now organization that was started by a lady in New York City. It is co-chaired by the Reverend Al Sharpton, and we were blessed enough, and also First Shiloh did an event to be recipients of a grant to be able to bring health awareness to our community. So you can go down there. There's free chair massage, and also there is blood screening. And it's going to include things like your bone health, diabetes, liver, kidney. I'm scared to take the test now because I'm going to come back with all of it.
Yeah,
Bones ain't no good.
everything
Liver,
gonna be
kidneys
high.
gone because I ate this daggone 100-calorie sandwich. All right, let's get to it.
Oh, let's get to work.
Let's start with tops.
Okay.
All right, so I am just, so before anybody say, well, Pridgeon ain't say nothing, I'm not, I don't know. I'm just finding out. So this is from WIVB, Channel 4. It says, police seized 2 loaded ghost guns and 3 loaded magazines. Now, ghost guns, folks, for the record, are guns that basically are made by computer.
Yep.
So it comes from these 3D computers, and 3 loaded magazines totaling 50 rounds from the suspects after they fled the parking lot by car. A Buffalo council member's son wounded in the 2022 mass shooting. At the same time, and of course, we're talking about Councilwoman Everhart was working the day of the latest incident.
Right.
So he was there with the massacre.
Yes.
And he was there with this one.
Yes.
Zanetta Everhart's son was wounded 3 years ago at the Top supermarket in Jefferson. Next paragraph. So then she advocated for stronger gun laws. The trauma, I want to get right to public records obtained by News 4 investigates revealed the suspects fled the parking lot by car before quick-acting Buffalo officers, big ups to Buffalo police officers, stopped them 5 blocks from the store. The reports state police seized 2 ghost guns, 3 magazines, all loaded with a total of 50 rounds, which means this thing probably worked.
So I think in one of the investigative stories they did, if it's not in there, I think each magazine was able to hold 9 bullets in a ghost gun.
So no motive is mentioned in any of the police documents, Everhart said. As a mother, I really want to get to what the facts are. TOPS released a statement Wednesday that it maintains a strong security presence with enhanced security system. Our video surveillance indicates that no firearms were pulled out on any individuals on the TOPS property. We understand the exchange of a firearm inside the store is still under investigation. Now, folks, I'm only reading the facts of what Channel 4 said. There are a lot of rumors out there about this gun being transferred. I haven't seen any proof yet. You all are very welcome to send it to me. I'm only reading what you all have. I don't have an inside track anymore to this kind of stuff, so I don't know. What I do know, this is what I do know, and I agree with so many people who have been out on social media. At the end of the day, I did hear on all of the news about Canal Side.
Yes.
And the shooting at Canal Side. I did hear on all of the news except the one that you all know that I don't look at.
Right.
I did hear on all of those, the 2 that I look at, I did hear about Woodlawn Beach.
Yes.
And an unauthorized party at Woodlawn Beach. What I ended up learning from people on social media and then Channel 4 was about a gunman someone with a gun, 2 people with a gun, and it's verified they got arrested.
Yes.
In TOPS. Like that's a big deal to me. So big ups to Council Member Everhart. Is that in her district now or is that still?
No, it's still Ellicott.
Still Ellicott. Okay. So at the end of the day, I personally have a problem with that. I personally have a problem, and this is to mainstream media. I have a problem, just like Juneteenth. The biggest day, the president talking about is we got too many paid holidays, and then for some media, it wasn't the lead story. But I promise you, when these other festivals happen that celebrate culture, they're not only the lead story, they're the story for a while.
Yes, they are.
And I have a real problem with this not being bigger, and the only place I'm seeing it is WIVB.
Yeah.
Now, we're information-packed society.
Yes.
That information could have been found by any other outlet.
Absolutely.
Now, people want to investigate, holding people in power accountable. Really? What? Where I'm getting most of my news is from social media?
Yes.
Because this, to me, was not handled properly. Diamond Howard, I'm watching the news now, and it said exactly that. Sad. Charles Everhart killed the rumors. That's what I'm doing, Charles, because there's a whole lot of rumors now, I don't know. Let me say this. Some of the rumors could be true.
Could be.
We don't know. And that's what I'm saying. So I heard that it got pulled out. The gun got pulled out on somebody. Then
they were saying that the gun, the ghost gun, was pulled out on a young lady. The young lady called her father. The father came up there, and then the father was the one that called the police. So, like you said, there's just a lot of pieces to the puzzle.
And if it was,
so,
tell us.
Yeah, it's just a lot. It's just so
us.
many random pieces to the puzzle. You know, it kind of reminds you back to, that Uber case with the girl in the 33, and it's just like, the longer you hold information, the more we speculate, and the more we have. We now you're just letting the imagination roam, and now it's there is a trauma with that particular store. So now the longer you leave us in the dark, it's what were they doing in the store, dude? Why were they?
We don't have any real facts.
Yes,
and so I will say to WIVB, who put this story out first. Big ups to you.
Yes.
Big ups to you. But at the end of the day, goodness great, this is TOPS.
Yes.
This is not a fight on the beach with a bunch of kids.
No.
This is not, and I'm not, and let me say this, I'm not making an excuse for that because that's ridiculous. This is not shooting at Canal Side because that's ridiculous, and shooting in public at somebody is ridiculous, period. This is the place that made us nationally, if not internationally, famous, and him infamous for the last few years. And you have men go in tops. And that, let's be real about it. I believe these are white men.
2 Caucasians, yes.
So let's be for real. It would be just as wrong if it was 2 African Americans.
Absolutely.
But this is my question. No, I ain't trying to be disrespectful. But was this kind of not put out there so that Tops wouldn't lose business? Because I think if it had been out there, I think there are some people who would say, hey, I need to chill off of that store.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to go to the store. I'm going to go to the store. It's in my neighborhood. I'm not going to let nobody run me away from my store. But at the end of the day, people need to know, because if something had to happen,
right,
then it's going to be let's clean up the pieces afterward.
Yes. Yep.
When right away, this city should have been notified, and we should have known who they were
immediately. And I mean, I know they've released the names and pictures online already.
Can we find it? I ain't seen.
Hold on, I'll find
you
it.
see if you find it. Let me go to some of the comments, because I want people to see them. I want to know, did anybody else ever see them? Have they been around? Are they walking around our neighborhoods? Are they driving around our neighborhoods? I don't want to sit back and I gotta depend on I have to depend on social media to give me that. Let me see. Kamal's asking, when did it happen? I'm going to tell you. It happened. Good point. This happened on June 17th. Today is 10 days ago from the day that we are doing this show live. This occurred 10 days ago. Carolyn Lane, look at the 2 things. I think she said, weren't they Caucasian?
Yes, so their names is Avella Pena and Ronnie Midget.
Pena is not a Caucasian name.
He is. I might be saying it wrong, but it's spelled Pena. Avelio.
We got a picture?
Yes.
Can we throw it up?
Yep, give me 1 second.
The world is sad. Diamond says, young generation is just coming out doing everything. The youth, they need to repent. This is off Facebook. Shopping at Juneteenth, Veronica says, I'm not sure what that means. I'm watching the news now. Carolyn Lane, look at the pictures of 2 guys. You'll know why. I gave you, that answer. Bernitha Washington, which was just talking about it. It's so sad. I think she meant we. That should have been top news. Veronica Bell, how many times these individuals frequent? Exactly. Channel 4 put the pictures and full names of the 2 men. You got it?
Yep.
All right, let's pull it up. All right, so there are the pictures. So regardless, they ain't African Americans. They look. So I'm very disappointed. And I have all respect for most of the media in this town. But at the end of the day, this should be in our face. These pictures should be shared everywhere. Now, I know you're innocent until proven guilty. But at the end of the day, we are suffering from some trauma that I'm not saying they're guilty. What I'm saying is they were charged and they had the weapons on them.
Right.
I'm sure the body cam shows that. I wish, some cities, they release body cam right away.
Yes.
They release body cam. I'm not saying that's always good, because they could demonize people who are innocent. Michael Gaynor says before the primary. Carolyn Lane said we need the Buffalo police to set up and secure that store. Monica Monique says questions, is there any more of them lined up to do? Y'all asking the same questions that I feel that we deserve answers to. Mm-hmm. And what I don't want to see is Buffalo turn into a police state, where everybody who moves.
Yes.
But there are some red flags. Let's be honest.
There is. There is.
There are some things that you go, all right, and I don't care whether you're black or white. At the end of the day, let's be honest. I show my tail up to rural part of New York.
Oh, absolutely.
And don't nobody know me? You ain't gonna tell. You call it profiling, you call it safety. I don't care.
We getting followed from the border to the border.
Bruh, I'm always so careful in the store to make sure anything I pick up, you can see. When Tops was doing the little thing where you put the thing in the cart and you scan it yourself on your phone, I did it a couple times. I'm paranoid. All the way to the end. And then when they come do the random stuff, I'm like, dang, did I put the butter on it? Because you know. But at the end of the day, it's not I can't say it's not a black or white issue because it was a white supremacist.
Yes.
So until you have proven that you're not that, obviously you're going to be a little shaky.
Right.
It's like if you in Iran and somebody from Israel come, you gonna be like, okay,
and to your point, like after 9/11, how many of us all got on planes and everybody just kind of kept looking like, oh no, we got one of them on the plane, and like you said, it is not. You don't want to live in that space, but you can't help it, and it is generalizing and
it's
profiling.
It
is,
but it's also
period,
survival.
Yes, for a time period.
If you a mouse in the jungle and the lion then chased you down, when the lion come around, you ain't talking about kumbaya.
Yeah.
You like, yo, let me chill and let me feel the temperature of this lion.
Absolutely.
Let's be honest. Let me feel the temperature. Let me feel the mood of this lion. You messing with me today or you not messing with me today?
I was getting ready to say you can hear that lion roar from across the jungle.
Come
and
on.
You like, yeah, I'm going this way.
I'm going this way. I want to be able to survive. So I'm hoping somebody in authority, and listen, I'm a radio host, I'm a pastor, I don't have the inside information. I'm finding out like everybody else is right now. But to me, I don't like it. No. I don't like it. I feel like we were left out there, and again, it's the smoke and mirrors crap. It's the let's concentrate over here. And then the stuff that we need to know, and I keep saying to mainstream media, is so important. You all create scenarios. You all control the narratives, I should say. I'm sorry. You all control the narrative. So if now there's a narrative that something went down at Tops, because if it happened over at, and I know they closed, but if it happened at Ike and BG's, it's going to be boom. And this is a situation where we had a white supremacist come in and kill 10 people.
I'll give the perfect example. When there was a bomb threat at Wegmans, it was everywhere. They shut the store down. They shut the store down. It was in social media within 20 minutes. Police presence at Wegmans on Amherst. And you knew it. They vacated the store. It was on every news outlet.
Was everywhere.
It was everywhere. So, there's a difference.
Speaking of white supremacists, we've been in this boycott with Target. I ain't saying they white supremacists. Hear me now. Disclaimer. What I am saying is we know that we got a race problem in this country.
Yes.
And what was helping that race problem was DEI.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, they got rid of DEI. And tell them what happened with the other denominations.
So in the middle of all of this boycott and almost, I think, going on 3 or 4 months now, the Target ended up cutting a deal with 4 of the largest black Christian church organizations, denominations, the National Baptist USA, the Missionary Baptist, and Church of God in Christ. And they cut a deal for a total of $300,000. Not each. They have to break up this pot between the 4 groups. So that's $75,000. $75,000.
Hold on one second. I got Kamal on the phone. He's a faithful listener, always full of knowledge. What's up, Kamal?
Yeah, I see you switch topics. I was wanting to ask.
No, go ahead. You're fine.
Okay. 10 days is at least 9 days too late to hear about it. For something that happened on the 17th, and we're just hearing about it now. The other thing is when we had that massacre, from the time of his court dates, he doesn't appear the same way he decided to present himself. He appears as a little white boy. The way he presented himself at the Tops was masked, body armor, fully armed,
militarized,
ready for the actions that he took. I think we should see those images and not the images of how he presents himself now And when I see him in court, I don't see any officers of color surrounding or officiating or helping him as he goes from one court case to the other. All I see is an all-white guard. Maybe it's me. Maybe my eyes aren't right. Maybe I don't see what I don't see. But the whole way these things have been treated is disrespectful.
I agree with you, Kamal. Thanks, Kamal.
Dangerous at most.
Thanks, brother. I agree. So moving on to this DEI. So basically, Tops gave these denominations, Target, sorry, Tops. Target gave these denominations $300,000. Now, one of the power brokers I was talking to yesterday in New York City.
Yeah.
So when he greeted me, I said, "What's up?" I went right into it.
Yeah.
I said, "What's up with y'all taking that money from Target?"
Mm-hmm.
He looked at me and said, "Now, you know it wasn't me." And then he said, because if it was me, it wouldn't have been no $35,000.
Uh-huh.
We starting at $35 million.
Absolutely.
I said, okay. He said, so it wasn't me. That's all I'll say on that.
Yes.
Of what I heard from a power broker yesterday.
Yep.
At the end of the day, I don't care how you slice it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we got people out there now going, well, Jamal, you did this, and what's the other guy? Roland Martin.
Yep.
You would have took their money, and
No.
Target is helping pay for Essence Festival. What they're not paying for, because if Essence is accepting $35,000, shame on Essence.
Mm-hmm.
The point is, and I agree, if all these other places are taking money, they should turn it down too.
Absolutely.
I totally agree. So I got this two-sided thought.
Mm-hmm.
If Target can buy us off,
Yes.
and we won't just say to Target, this year we don't want it. This year we don't want it, and we'll struggle, we'll figure it out, or we'll pare down, or we'll ask the people who come to speak, sing, listen, let's stick together. I don't know, and maybe you can find it. Does Target sponsor the Essence Festival? But that has come up. Like how, Jamal is a speaker at the Essence Festival. So now some people are like, oh, that's hypocritical because you'll take the money on this way, but not that way.
Well, I think the biggest issue is at the end of the day, and I pulled it up. So, like I said, and it's not just Jamal leading the Target Fest. It's Tamika Mallory. It's like you said, it's Roland Martin. There's a few others. But they had particular financial asks of Target. There was 4 asks: a fulfillment of their $2 billion pledge to the Black business community, deposits of $250 million into 23 Black-owned banks, the establishment of 10 retail training centers at HBCUs, and a full restoration and recommitment to DEI principles. So there was 4 targets on the no pun intended.
Okay.
So now you just basically go around what the largest group is asking.
But are they now going to do all these things?
No, because I think
exactly
they went through.
They went around them.
Right.
So is Essence still going to accept Target's money? And this is where we get split up as a community.
Yes, it is.
So I give the church this amount of money, and folks love to dog the church anyway. So even if Target had to give the church $30 million, you're still gonna dog the church because you say, oh, it's just for the preachers and all that. So you're gonna dog the church regardless. But you don't say anything about your festivals that you go to. You don't say anything about the other places that Target is giving money. But I do think it's a slap in the face of the Black church to accept 75,000. 75, 70. Where am I getting the 35? It's 300 something thousand. Well, yeah, I can tell you where I got the 30 because when you break down where it went. Anyway, I ain't going into all that. That's rumor. I don't deal with rumor. I'm dealing with facts. If you can't show me the fact, I ain't gonna deal with it. But at the end of the day, it's a slap. And when do we stick together? When do we do the hard stuff and say, Target, we can't take your money until we have come to agreement on this DEI stuff? When do we do that? And when do we say then to the stars that's going to make thousands of dollars, to all of the top speakers that's going to make money? When do you say to them, this one we need to do, listen, we ain't getting this big money this year. And at the end of the day, this is what and I know they spend big money because Full Gospel comes behind them in New Orleans. And last year, there was a big controversy because we were using some of the same stuff in the same space.
Oh, wow.
And the audio company wanted to charge us again, of course, but for setup, as if it hadn't already been there. And I know the number, so it's big numbers. But when do we say as a people, we not going to stop until we shut it down? This is what I mean. So
I'm trying to see what the number is because Target is not the title sponsor for Essence Fest. It looks like it's Coca-Cola, but I'm trying to find the exact number that Target is putting into Essence Fest.
Murray Holman is on. He says, Bishop, you're talking a lot. That's a lot. But one thing I want to say about the Tops incident, the news did not cover it as well, neither, because every time we have a homicide and City of Buffalo or something taking place at Canal Side or at Juneteenth or at Woodlawn is mentioned right off the top. So we have a breakdown in the system all across the board. Someone is holding back the news that is important to us. That's what we're talking about, Murray. Yep. That's what we're talking about. I mean, at one time when this community went after the Buffalo News, and we went after the Buffalo News so hard that the editor, the chief of Buffalo News came to this community, met in True Bethel with this community, made some promises. Now, those promises ain't been kept now because she's no longer there, but I give her big ups. She faced the community and said, we're going to do more positive stories. We're going to do this. I know they're not holding up to the bargain because first of all, let's be the reality. They don't have the reporters anymore.
We have no idea what's going on over there anymore.
We don't know what's going on. There ain't no little few positive stories, and they're working. They're handicapped, and it's not just Buffalo News. It's newspapers all across the country.
And I will say I do think the one thing that I think they've done a better job with in the Buffalo News was humanizing victims and humanizing homicide victims. Because before it would just be like, oh, it's just
the name and that's it.
Yeah. So now there is a story being told about who the person
and they should.
Was. Yes.
So, this is not good. So I don't know why they took this little money. I really don't. But this is what waters down the movement. Because it's not just the church. And I'm going to say that again and again. Because the church is just the easiest target.
Always.
I'm surprised ain't nobody out there going right now, where the pastors at about Tops? Like, we know. like somebody calls us in the middle of the night.
We know what
so I gotta protect my colleagues, and I got to protect the church of God. And because nobody says, where's the mosque? They say, we're the church.
Yep.
It's always the church. So at the end of the day, I don't know nothing about it. The people who know about it has been quiet. So that's Tops. Let's pay some bills. You want to pay some bills?
Sure.
When we come back, we're going to talk about cell phone bans in school. I really want to know what you feel about it. Start giving me your comments. Cell phone ban in, I believe it's for public schools, because I don't think you can regulate the private schools. But we'll get into it. Let's pay some bills.
When it comes to something as personal as your clothes, you need to deal with somebody you can trust. That's why so many people turn to Hobson's Dry Cleaning, conveniently located in the heart of the community at 874 East Delavan at the corner of Wyoming.
When you take your clothes to Hobson's, you can trust that they'll be ready on time.
You can trust that your whites will be white.
You can trust that you'll always get a fair price and service with a smile.
You can even trust that you won't have to get out of your car if you don't want to. Hobson's has a drive-through window for your convenience.
Trust is what it's all about at Hobson's Dry Cleaning.
Hobson's Dry Cleaning, your one-stop dry cleaners serving the community for over 30 years at 874 East Delavan at the corner of Wyoming. Call 891-8298. That's 891-8298.
Brian K. Lewis Funeral Home has 3 locations to serve you in Buffalo. 347 Peckham, 2258 Bailey Avenue, and Providence Memorial Chapel at 1275 Sycamore. Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes offers traditional services, and they have services for all faiths. And at Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes, they have air-conditioned parlors and chapels. Financing is available, as is limousine service. At those difficult moments in your life, Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes is available where you are with counseling services. call toll free 877-885-7734. That's 877-885-7734. Or locally 845-5545. Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes. We are here to serve you, here to serve this present age. Call today, toll free 877-885-7734 or email info@brianklewisfuneralhome.com.
All right, we're back. I was going to cell phone, but first let's go to this election. Now, I want to talk about, first of all, if you don't know, the election in New York City. That was basically the Democrats' primary. It's still not over in New York City, folks. So basically, now I'm using this word, I'm just giving you the encyclopedia definition of a socialist. A socialist is someone who supports or advocates for socialism, which is an economic and political philosophy that emphasizes social or public ownership and control of the means of production, such as factory, land, and resources, instead of private ownership. The core belief is that society as a whole, rather than individuals or private companies, should own or manage key economic resources and enterprises for the collective benefit of all members. So basically what is being said is that this young socialist, 30-something years old,
33, I think.
33, won the primary in New York City, the biggest city in the state of New York. He won the primary. People are calling him a socialist because basically he's saying stuff like this. He feels the bus system should be free in New York.
Yep.
So socialists feel like, more people should have there's some things about socialism that I don't think we should shy away from that work. And I think in all of these forms of government, there are things that people like, but it's more about employee ownership.
Yes.
Not having, you got Jeff Bezos right now getting ready to get married in the little country he's in, trying to put him out, like you bringing all this and we over here struggling, and so at the end of the day, he beat Andrew Cuomo.
Yes.
Who last week was a favorite to win, week before last.
Yes.
Was ahead in the polls, and whoom, this guy comes out of the dust and dusts Cuomo.
Yes.
Now there is a fear. I was in New York yesterday. Ooh, when you at them tables and you hear them, there is a thought that this guy will not prevail. Number one, Cuomo is on another line, but he has said today that he's going to stay on the line, but he's not going to actively campaign. Now, I think that's until something happens, until there's an event, because he's already talking to business leaders. Business leaders are already talking to him and Eric Adams.
Okay.
So if you don't keep up with New York City, Eric Adams is the present mayor of the city of New York.
Yep.
He did not run on the Democratic line. Eric Adams is the one who made the deal with Trump.
Yes.
Keep me out of jail. I'll be quiet. I'll stop talking about all this immigrant stuff. And basically, and so Eric Adams will be in the race. So you have like the richest people in New York right now trying to contact Eric Adams and Cuomo. And basically saying, hey, Cuomo, you still could do it if we put millions of dollars behind you. And Eric, you can make a comeback. I see it as India and Byron again. Because India, many people, or she was painted as a socialist. She was painted as a socialist, right? She wins the primary. Then you all know the story. Write down Byron Brown. And y'all people wrote down Byron Brown.
Right.
And Byron Brown beat India Walton in the general election.
Right.
And the thought is the same thing can happen in New York.
Yes.
Now, folks, this is bigger than New York. I mean, than the city of New York, and bigger than the state. What is it, Mandami?
Yes.
If Mandami wins New York as a socialist, it's going to give them power.
Absolutely.
And other areas will consider socialism more seriously.
Well, and there's twofold. So I think the difference, one of the big difference with New York City is they have ranked choice voting. So I was just making sure I was correcting that. So ranked choice voted so he won, but he didn't get 50%.
Yes.
So that means the bottom person falls off and they have to go vote again. And they keep voting until one person gets 50%, but each time the bottom person falls off. So technically it really it's not over, but it could be a long path. But, to your point, one of the things that scares people about socialism, and they use this word with it, is communism, because, like you said, a lot of it is really the same principles, but it's how you basically treat the people.
Absolutely.
But that's the biggest difference. So generally, when you see somebody slap with the socialism title, they love then saying, "Oh, they're a communist."
Two different things.
Completely two different things. So I just wanted to make those 2 points.
So this is so important because this could have national reverberation.
Yes.
If this happens in New York City. But I'm telling you right now, it's not over.
No.
And the same way there's a socialist, and people go, "Oh,
yeah,
she wants to defund the police."
Yes.
And so this is the same thing that could happen in New York City. If Eric Adams, and I don't think Eric Adams has the chance. I think it would be more Cuomo.
Right.
And I think Cuomo's just like, I'm going to sit over here with my hands folded, and I'm going to let the people rise up and the people with the money, and then we'll come out with a different campaign. Let's just breathe right now. Because as long as he's not actively campaigning, it ain't no reason to attack him. So he gets a chance to kind of breathe in and start this all over. So I think that you got to follow these races. Of course, Sean Ryan won the Buffalo contest. We're waiting to see whether Acting Mayor Scanlon will stay in the race. He does have another line, or he could do what Cuomo is saying. I'm going to stay on the line. He's not. First of all, this is my personal opinion. I don't think that he steps off the line. I think he stays on the line, and I think this is Darius Pridgeon. I think he's going to actively campaign. That's what I believe with all of my heart. He's going to actively campaign. At the end of the day, I think that was a night that, you just had so many people who felt like the incumbent. Well, I can't say the incumbent because he wasn't voted into office. He was by the charter that he had to go into the office. But I think that was thought that was just a shoe-in and that's over. So that night was a lot happening in politics that you must pay attention to.
And I think a lot of people have offered their opinions, and then more people have become political pundits on even social media. But the common thread is still there. Citywide, 27% of Democrats voted. And 27%.
Well, I was at my voting place, and when they told me how many people voted, one of the workers at the poll said, "Well, it's only the primary."
Yeah.
And I was like, "It's only." Go ahead.
So, and that's the thing. And so I was trying to summarize some of these numbers and some of the districts, because I know some people have put out kind of big, broad, district-wide numbers. But I'm scrolling through ED and wards, and it's like 15, 7, 11, 5. And I'm sitting there like, now not knowing how many Democrats are actually in some of these districts, but when you start seeing single digits in a primary, and for people who this is the first time they're on the ballot for mayor in 20 years, or 20 plus years, or however many years it's interesting, it's sad, but I think it's either, and that's where I guess the public office or public officials, anyone in the public sphere or affairs, you have to figure out. So are messages not resonating, or people don't care, because they just feel?
I think people thought it was that it was done.
Oh yeah,
and I saw that's what I read on social media.
Yeah,
he's already got it. He's already got it. He's already got it. And the bad thing is that resonates more. And then people, because it was a nice day out.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
You had early voting.
Yep.
It was a nice day out, and still people did not come out thinking that somebody else had it. I'll just say this, and this is me, Darius, generally. I think more time has to be spent on issues and not personalities.
I completely agree.
And
generally speaking.
Yeah, generally speaking, the concentrating on personalities is maybe you'll win, but it doesn't. People in the city want to know what you're going to do. Period.
Yes.
Not who you're going to do. if that makes any sense. So at the end of the day, you got to watch the New York City elections because they're big. All right, next topic. So I was with the governor yesterday. She announces this ban on cell phones in schools. And basically, let me get it right so you know. So this is a ban in New York State. New York is implementing a bell-to-bell cell phone ban K through 12 schools starting this fall. This means students will be required to keep their internet-enabled devices, now how you choose what's internet-enabled or not, put away throughout the entire school day, including during lunch and study hall. Exceptions will be made for students needing devices for medical reasons, translation, or caregiving responsibilities, and for school-issued devices. The ban applies to all public and charter schools in New York State. So if your kid goes to Nichols, they might not have that ban. Matter of fact, I know they don't have it because my daughter went to Nichols and she can call whenever she can go out in the hallway. They making it the largest state to implement such a restriction. The ban will be in effect from the start of school day until the end. Schools will be responsible for developing their own methods for storing devices during the day. The state budget includes $13 million to help schools with the cost. They probably gonna make them put them in their little pouches like we had to do the other day.
Listen, if schools are turning, I just can't imagine now. I already got my book bag. I guess I got books. I got my iPad, and now I got to carry around a pouch with my cell phone in it, and then probably my Apple Watch and everything. This is getting.
So I'm just gonna say this: as a former teacher in Buffalo Public Schools before kids had cell phones, I think it could probably be rather distracting to try to instruct a class and kids are on the phone.
Yeah.
And you can now use AI to kind of cheat a little bit if you can get the phone hidden away.
Yeah.
So this is, I think kids need to learn. And okay, let me, because I know what parents are going to say, I need to get in touch with my. Schools will be required to ensure parents have a way to contact their children. I agree. Exceptions, and I went through the exceptions, focus on mental health. Governor Hochul has emphasized that the ban is intended to address concerns about youth mental health and reduce distractions. Let's be honest, everybody. Fights at the library.
Yep.
Fights on Woodlawn Beach.
Yep.
Fights down at many of them start on social media.
They do.
We meeting down at the library. I've seen it. So not that it can't happen after the school day, but if I've had all day long
to amp it all
amp it all up
yep.
and to know that it's going to be a fight at the library, you don't get. Let me say this, and y'all can get mad at me if you want, but this is my show. I say what I want. You say what you want on your show, or do whatever you want to do. At the end of the day, most of these, you don't get 1,000 kids to show up somewhere if it didn't come through social media.
That's true.
So if now it's being said all day that there's going to be a fight at the library, I go down to the library because I paid more attention to social media than I did to social studies. And that's the problem. So the math is there. You ask a kid, how did you get to the fight? How did you know about the fight? Oh, it's all on social media.
Yeah.
Why weren't you studying? Because at the end of the day, we can do all this. My kid gonna have a phone. All right, it's a state law, ma'am. It's a state law, sir. And if that's what you want to do, and you'd rather put your child's education in jeopardy for a cell phone, these kids aren't doctors and lawyers yet, but if we're going to get them to be doctors, lawyers, scientists, business owners, whatever it is, mental health professionals, they've got to have the basics, and our kids are already behind. Our kids are already behind.
Yes. Even the ones that we think are successful in certain schools, you're like, that you are still far behind. It is tragic, and like you said, there's a means to make sure that you still have access. And honestly, even if it is like, because I know some kids are Ubering and lifting the school,
but you can still do that because it's after school.
But I'm saying you can even schedule that
exactly.
So yeah,
I want to read this comment because I think it's so important. The kids are Valerie Allen, my concern is that it's at a time when plenty of our children are becoming missing in our community. It seems that no one is paying attention. I'm just going to say this. They're not being snatched out of schools. They're missing when they walk away from home, they walk away from school. They will have their device.
Yeah.
But if they're in school, I haven't seen one report of a kid sitting in the classroom and they just came up missing.
Right.
So at the end of the day, I do agree. You know, I agree that kids, some of them need a cell phone to contact in case of emergency.
Right.
That ain't what we're talking about. We're talking about time when our most precious commodity is being instructed so that they can live their life, so that they can develop. And if half of the class, and I've heard the horror stories from teachers, half of the class on their phone, and one teacher told me that she told a student, I'm on the phone with my mother. Like, what? Your mother should be telling you, unless it's an emergency, unless something is happening, and if it's an emergency, that student should be allowed to utilize their cell phone and get off of it.
You know, and it's crazy, and I think sometimes it's just about culture. So even at our football practice, from day one when we start meeting with the kids in the classroom, we tell them no cell phones.
Yep.
And when we're in
that's for sports.
Yeah. So
let me ask you this. Let me just pause, because I think you was a little like trying to think about it earlier. Why then is it okay to say to a football player, put away your phone because you need to concentrate on this game? But we say to the student, oh, well, they kind of need their phone.
I think my original pause was probably more on that burden of, okay, so how are we locking up the phone? What's the process? Now, does the beginning and end of day become longer? Because now, like you said, we got to go through this pouch process. We got to go through this before you can leave. And so I think the more I talk about it, say at least at practice, I know, your parents know, pick up, drop off. And, it's more like, hey, you were just in this moment for 30 minutes.
So let's get to it because I'm running out of time. At the end of the day, when you get on a plane, they tell you got to cut off your phone.
Yes.
Well, your internet.
Your devices.
Your device. But you can leave on your phone.
Yeah.
This is the same thing. And if you keep getting caught, now they don't mess with you really more. But if you, in the height of it, after 9/11, you would get kicked off the plane and not be able to come back on, getting banned.
That's so true. So
this is how it is. And this is, to me, I ain't going to say I'm 100% in, but I'm going to say I'm majority in with this. Because this is our commodity. And at the end of the day, Benita Jameson says, tell the truth. No lies told. Katrina says no cell phones in schools. I think our students need to be studying. And the reason, and it's time to go, we are behind in education with the world. The reason that we are behind with China and other places, the reason we've got doctors coming from other countries is because in some countries, education is important.
Yep.
And I will not back down that education is important. And if we find that something is distracting our children and we don't deal with it and we come up with excuses about my kid gonna have it, okay, then put your kid in a private school that allows it.
Yeah.
Or not. Do what you want to do. But you want your child suspended for a cell phone when your child ain't answering no hospital calls?
Nope.
Your child is not a undertaker. Your child is not this. Your child is a student when they walk in that school. And that's it, a student.
And I was going to say, and when we were in school, you just called the school.
And schools should be responsive to parents that's calling.
Absolutely.
And responsive to students that need to reach out to their parents.
Absolutely.
Because things happen in the day.
Yes.
So I don't want the schools being extra either, talking about, we ain't going to let you call. That ain't, no, let these kids call, do whatever, it'll calm down. But at the end of the day, I can't figure out no reason that kids need phones in schools all day. 2-year-old. What a 3-year-old need a phone for? Now, there are going to be parents out there that say, there was abuse happening, Okay, let's deal with that.
Yeah.
And my kid got it. But that kid could also, we got to just retrain.
Absolutely.
How for them to respond to emergencies. Last of all, it'll reduce all of these videos of fights in school.
I agree.
Come on. They're supposed to be learning. And what are they passing around all day? The person who fought.
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
Woodlawn Beach videos.
Yeah. Listen, I got to get ready to go. It's hot in here, too.
Yeah, they got
no air on. They up on the roof doing something. Whew, whew. Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes pays the bills, 347 Peckham, 2528 Bailey, 1275 Sycamore Street. In your hour of need, Brian K. Lewis. Listen, take those clothes. You heard it. And our commercial, Hobson's, the doctor of dry cleaning. They're the ones that put us on the air, and Hobson's and Brian K. Lewis keeps us on the air. 874 East Delavan. Listen, if you want to be a sponsor of the show, let us know, because we're on our way to Atlanta, Georgia, where we'll be simulcasting Power to the People, coming on right after Bernice King. We're doing this thing in a big way. Thank you for staying with us. Until next week, Power to the people.